What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Cookie DAO yet again. Oh yes, we're going to talk about this thing every damn day until she's done pumping, baby. She is moving up, Cookie DAO. If you're not aware of what this coin is, I'm not going to tell you what it is here, right? You can figure it out on your own. Do your own damn research. Don't just invest in something because somebody's talking about it on YouTube. That sounds like what degenerates do. Look it up. If you're going to put money into something and you decide that you want something, just because some guy's talking about it doing a 10x or more on YouTube, and we are going to cover those topics real soon, my friends, does not mean that you should put money in on blind faith alone, right? If it's $100, okay, screw it, go ahead, roll the dice. But if you're putting money that matters to you, right, you're trying to scrap together something that can make a difference for your life, do your own research before you do that kind of stuff, okay? On that note, I think this thing has a real chance to make some people some money. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Hit that like button and subscribe, you guys. But this thing is literally on a path. Call it a war path, man, to prices that are not just above $1, but likely even above $2 by the end of this rally. The premise for that, the reason why I believe we will see a target that is above $2 is if we look at this last move here, right? This last move, and I'm not saying that it's going to make this exact same move, right? But this last move here, from if I can get it from a low to a high, right around whenever the move started, that was about a 39x overall, 39x overall. From the low here to the high of wherever we go, right? I'm talking about multi-dollar targets, right? A $2.30 target would be a 10x from the current price, okay? What if we saw $3? That's just half of the move that we saw before, okay? And I'm going to go over some points that I made in last night's video talking about Cookie DAO as well. Cookie at the high here, do you guys know what coincidentally happened at this absolute peak in the high? Do you remember? Do you know? People that watched last night's video, you're very aware of what this is because we went over it, but do you know what happened here that caused the selling? Do you know what happened here, or probably even here, that caused the buying? Binance was listing Cookie. They bought Cookie, and this is what an exchange pump looks like, especially for something that is worth, at the time of making this thing was less than like probably $10 million in market cap valuation, right? It's still less than 100 million now. Coinbase, 2 days ago, maybe it was yesterday, I forget, it might have been 2 days ago or it was yesterday, I think it was yesterday, they announced that they are going to be listing Cookie DAO. They have a roadmap to list Cookie DAO. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means that they are in the future going to list this token. Now, what's awesome about that is oftentimes you don't hear a token's going to get listed until after the pump. We have a moment now with a market cap, a coin that literally has one of the lower market caps out of all the coins I talk about, right? This one here, 82 million right now. That's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, $82 million is a lot of money, but for a market cap valuation in stocks, in crypto, in anything, that is a low cap. By far, that's a low cap, you guys. Things like this are more risky inherently. This is why you need to do your own research. But they also have the potential to see a lot more growth, right? We invested in this thing. If you were watching the live stream yesterday, we caught this thing at 20 cents. If you caught the videos before, I bought some at 19 cents, and I was talking about it there, right? There were opportunities to buy at 17 cents. I bought, and it literally dropped to 17 cents in the next day. The C-Zar special is what we call it around these parts. If you just wait till after I buy, you will likely get a better buying price. You can literally outperform me just by waiting me out 90% of the time. Sometimes I'm good, but most of the time I do try to buy ahead of the low. I do. That's just my style. If it doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. It doesn't have to. It's my style. It's not your style. 83, because I would just rather get in. 90% of the time it does go lower, but for that 10% of the time it doesn't go lower, I'm just happy to be in it, right? It sucks doing all the work, scraping up and sifting through the dirt, trying to find a crypto that you actually like, and then you miss the boat on it. You know what I mean? That's worse to me. I found, emotionally speaking, that's worse for me, and I'm more likely to FOMO if I find a moment like that than I am if I'm more likely to FOMO than I am to panic sell if I buy something ahead of where I think the lows are going to be. So 20 cents drop to 17 cents, I don't care, right? For you though, if you ever buy after I buy, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, you'll probably do better than me, because oftentimes the price does go lower. But 83 million. Let's say it was 85 million, just to make the math easier on my head and round up so that way we're giving conservative targets instead of overestimated targets. 85 billion. To get to a 10x, that's an $850 million market cap. And that's still no small amount of money. But that's very attainable in crypto. You guys, there's meme coins that come out listing day with over with over $1 billion market caps, even higher than that, right? This coin is actually It's not a meme, and it actually has some more stuff going for it on a fundamental basis. Um, and specifically, one of the most important things, I think, or one of the most vital things to any coin's success in a bull market is exchange listings, right? The biggest, generally, besides meme coins, the ones that pump the hardest are the ones that you see getting listed on two of the biggest exchanges in the world, Binance and then Coinbase. And then after you list on Binance, oftentimes you see a 60% drop, 65% drop or more after you list on Binance. This makes sense because if you think about it logically, right, and even if you drop to 83%, you're still at dramatically higher. Look at where you are, right? In comparison to your low here, you're still up 6x. You dropped 80%, you're still up 6.5x, over that even, right? Just for perspective there. Imagine you have the biggest entity in crypto, Binance, okay? Literally the biggest exchange for crypto in the world, and they're buying your coin. This is what that buying pressure looks like. They're buying it. They're buying it. Why? Why would they buy your coin? Well, they want to list it. They can't list it if they don't have it. So whether they buy it, whether they're allotted some, but the price has to come up, like however it works. If you don't want to say, well, they don't buy it, well, they're more or less, yes, they do. Whenever they're listing a coin, unless unless a coin just gets listed on Binance immediately, and even then, there's still, they can be attributed some coins from like the marketing section of their tokenomics, right, and whatever, and that often does cause selling. But for coins like this beforehand, right, this decentralized coin, there's no team to give them these coins, right? It's not allocated for Binance. Binance, if they want to scoop this up, they want to list it on their exchange, they have to buy it. This is what buying pressure looks like from the biggest exchange in the world for crypto. After they're done buying it, when they're ready to list, because why would they list before they were done buying it? They would list after they're done buying it, okay? There's no more buying pressure. So you have buying pressure that is absent from the biggest crypto exchange in the world. That's probably not going to be good for price growth. Not only that, but now that they're not buying it, what are they doing? They're selling it. They're selling it to you. Every time you buy it from the exchange, they're selling it to you. So now Binance literally effectively went from buying it, being the biggest entity in the space, to buying it, to being the same entity, the biggest entity in the space, to sell it, right? And maybe BlackRock's a bigger entity, of course, right? But I just mean like a crypto entity as far as this goes, right? Binance is the biggest crypto exchange. It literally is in the whole world. Coinbase is not, but it is the second biggest. It is the second biggest exchange. And every time Coinbase gets a listing, we oftentimes see movements just like this. Maybe it's a 10x, oh no. Maybe it's a 20x, oh no. But maybe sometimes it's a 40x like this. Sometimes it's bigger. You never know what you're going to get. Life is like a box of crypto. You never know what you're going to get with these exchange listings, man. But what I do assume is that the second biggest the second biggest exchange in the world will likely be able to pump this thing at least a 10x from its low, right? At least a 10x, which that price, by the way, would be at about 173 cents, $1.73 from a high to a low here. If I can clear my throat. That's actually right at our 1414 target, the $1.78, and we'd probably go a little bit more than that even. Essentially, from the low, this thing's not guaranteed, but very likely to have a 11x or more. It's very common with the 1414 to wick even a little bit above there. You get above the 1414, what's the next target? $2.58, and that's at about a 15x from the low, which is also equated to a 11x from the current price of 23.23 cents. Okay, I have strong beliefs. I'm very convinced that not only will you see a price above $1.78, you will see a price above $2.58. I think this thing could run all the way up to $4.19 or $5.16. I genuinely do. I genuinely believe we could see something absolutely stupendous. Why? Because even here, this is about half the growth that we saw last time, right? With the biggest exchange listing. This is the second biggest exchange. It's at a higher market cap now. I don't know. Is half appropriate? Maybe, maybe not. Is less than half appropriate? Is like a third appropriate, or a fourth, a quarter appropriate? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, right? At the bare minimum, it's the 1272, and even that from the current price, even that is a near 6x, okay? But I don't know about you guys. I don't think a coin that dropped 80% after getting listed on the biggest exchange in the world saw a lot of volume afterwards too. A lot of volume at the lows right there, okay? Where the lows came in were at prior areas of resistance, your prior all-time highs. From a structural standpoint on the charts, this is magnificent. This only suggests that you're going to do stupendous things whenever you grow. You have a flat top here in your consolidation phase with higher lows. That's accumulation. Generally, not always, but generally, it's accumulation, right? You kind of had a flat base here with lower highs that suggests distribution, but guess what? It wasn't. You had Binance buying, right? So it's not always suggestive that you go high, or it's not always an indication that you will go high, but it is suggestive a good bit of the time that this kind of consolidation is. And then last but not least, something that's very important to me, something that matters really probably the most to me, beyond anything else that we've talked about. I guess the thing that matters the most is the exchange listing. To be fair, I think that's just a dead giveaway. We'll go over why that's awesome in a second. But from a low to a high, you've pulled back 3 or 382. You found support above your 0.5, right? You've wrestled with this 382. Oftentimes, when you wrestle with the 382 or you find support there, that's actually a very normal thing in the event of a very strong move. Which I don't know about you guys, but a 40x in the course of from November 25th to January 10th, that seems like a pretty damn strong move to me. What do I know? What do we know? Who knows? But this seems like a very logical area to find support. And the fact that it went a little bit below the 382, I think is actually normal. It's not normal in most cases, but it's normal for this because at those levels is at such a low market cap. It's very easy to influence. But make no mistake, at these levels, you had the most volume you'd ever seen. All right, at these higher lows where the all-time highs once were. Now it's your higher low to build from. Okay. Very, very significant level there. To me, everything about this thing suggests that it is going to go higher. I don't know about you guys, and this is where we got off. This is where we got sidetracked. I said this exact thing. This is what got me sidetracked. But now that we have all the information in front of us, I can continue. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think a coin like this is going to stop at its minimum target. Even from here, that's great. That's like a 5.8x. Great. That's cool. I'm happy with that. Even from here, that's great. But I don't think it's going to stop at its minimum target. No. I would be surprised if it even stopped at its next target. What I would expect at a true minimum would be that we see something over a 10x from here at $2.58. The golden ratio. Look up what the golden ratio is. The 1.618 is the golden ratio. The golden extension itself right there. If we stop there, cool. If we stop wherever, cool. I'm fine with that. Whatever. We'll find sell signals. You know what's great about an exchange listing? They give you very obvious sell signals. It's when they list the coin. Because again, this coin, once it topped, you know what happened on that day? That was Binance listing the coin. It was no coincidence, right? Look at Pepe. Whenever Pepe got listed on Binance, the same day that it got listed on Binance was the day that it dropped. Oftentimes, within either the same 24-hour period or within a 2-week span, you are going to drop after an exchange listing. Exchange listings are great. And the great thing is, even if the coin continues to go up, wherever it's listed from on the exchange, even if it continues to go up, it will always, not always, like 95% of the time, it will come back down to prices below where it was whenever it got listed on the exchange. So even if you sell at the quote-unquote worst time after exchange listing, you sell at the lowest price and then it pumps like 50% from there, it will likely come back. It will likely come back below where you bought to a magnificent degree. Coinbase and Binance listings often promote 65% drops or more. You will not find anybody else in the space who tells you this. They're all aware. They're all aware that exchange listings, especially Binance and Coinbase specifically, not all exchanges, but the two biggest exchanges, yeah. Bybit probably too. It's a really big exchange, right? I mean, they got the biggest hack in the history of humankind, and they literally are still operating, right? This is the Bybit chart right now, so they're a big exchange too. Listing here on Bybit costs some selling, to be completely fair. But outside of those three, there's not that much selling pressure from other ones, at least in my opinion. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, you'll not find anybody. Everybody knows, or at least the OGs in the space, or the people who've been around for at least a cycle, know and are full aware that exchange listings are sell events, and they're very good for pumping the price. Look, we've already moved up a cent since we've been talking, right? I think we're going to keep moving up. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It's going to move up rather eruptively, I think, over the coming weeks, over the coming days. I don't know how long it's going to take to get up here. It could take a month or two like it did last time. It could take a week or two. I really don't know. These things are very sporadic, these exchange listing moments. But where was I going? Where was I going with this? I want to complete the thought. The thought is that nobody will tell you what the exact percentage is that we drop on average. I will. 65%. The average coin after listing on an exchange is 65%. And the reason I know this is because I spent a whole freaking day whenever I was starting to do technical analysis, and I was doing some just very simple stuff, which was I went through every altcoin I could find. Guys, I went through hundreds of coins and I logged them in a book. I don't know where my damn book is, but this was like This had to have been like 7 years ago, right? Like I've been doing technical analysis for 8 years. This was my first year. Like I was just bored and I was so entranced with technical analysis and figuring things out. I did this for a whole damn day. I lived in my mom's house. I had nothing better to do. I literally just did that all day. I didn't play any video games. Maybe I played some video games afterwards, but redundant. All I'm trying to say is I went through hundreds of coins and I found very, very rarely, it's like probably less than 2.5% of the time, there were coins that continued to pump and did not see 65% drops at all until the end of the cycle, right? It's a very rare situation when that happens. 95% of the time or more. I would say 90% of the time, because some coins, there is a good like 5% in there that don't drop 65%, but they still drop a significant amount, like 30% to 50%, maybe even 60% itself. But the majority of coins do, once they get listed on Binance or Coinbase specifically. And I'm okay with throwing Bybit in there, but maybe not for the 65% thing, maybe just for some kind of significant drop nonetheless. But the average drop is 65% with these listings. So all I'm trying to say by that is, let's say you get listed on Coinbase and it is at 258 when it gets listed, but we do some classic stuff like what we did with the Binance listing, which is wick up high. We pump hard on that listing day because there's a craze going on to buy this new coin, whatever. Let's say you sell here and it's listed right at this price, you get a nice 11x, and then it continues to move up. Oh no, you could have had a 17x. Right, and that number seems like a big difference, 11x to a 17x, but from here to there, that's only a 55-60% difference, right? And that's still a lot. Even then, even from there, right? Let's see, what would a 65% drop bring you? 65% drop brings you all the way back down to $1.37. And in fact, that would be classic. That would be so classic. Going from your 1886 down to your 1272 and then finding support there, it would be perfect. I'm not saying just because it lined up perfectly and it worked for this doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I could see that happening. I could see that exact thing, that exact thing happening. It could even list up here and then we do that same thing, but from the 2272. You know, who knows what it's going to look like? But at the very bare minimum, what I'm expecting would be about 258, which is still, again, over a 10x from here. And this is likely going to happen in the month of March, probably by the end of March, right? I'm very confident this thing will rip in a very short amount of time. If it's not by the end of March, sometime in April, but oftentimes when an exchange mentions they're going to list a coin, this takes place very rapidly. It's not a slow maneuver. At the very least, if you can't get on board with the 10x, it sounds too crazy to you, at least accept that from a Fibonacci perspective, the minimum target literally is right here. At least accept that that's a 475% move from the current price. That's the absolute bare minimum, most pessimistic I could be. And that right there is barely under a 10x, when what we did last time was approximately a 40x. So if you can't get on board with the 10x, okay, that's okay, right? If you're new to crypto and you're not aware of how things pump with exchange listings, that's okay. And even if you are, sometimes, let's be real, it could stop at $1.38. It's possible, it could. But likely you go higher. But even then, does 468% in probably less than a month, because they're going to list it very fast and they're going to acquire it very fast. In fact, if they announce that they have a roadmap for it here, they are probably a large reason why that volume was there in the first place, why any buying is taking place here and it's not going lower, right? They've been buying it. They didn't just start buying it once they announced the roadmap. They've been buying it, right? In a very short amount of time, as last time, right? It's going to move up to these levels and above. I don't know, man. I got nothing else to say. None of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but there's a reason why I chose this one to start off the day with, and I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. It's completely possible. You never know if a coin like this can drop. I put a heavy hand into it recently, and even still, that amount of money was less than 10% of my portfolio. That's a significant amount, right? So something that's even more than 5% of your portfolio. That's significant, you guys. But I didn't put 20%, I didn't put 50%, I did not go 100% into this thing. And I'm very confident it pumps. I'm very confident that it's going to make more money than probably anything else that I'm holding in March. But I didn't sell everything for this coin, right? Because I've done that before. And if you've done that before, you know exactly how that goes, right? At least 9 out of 10 times it does not go well. Even if it does go well, it would have gone better if you just held the coins that you thought about selling, right? I'm very confident this thing's going to outperform a lot of coins, but even still, what I'm holding in this is less than 10% of my whole portfolio. So just to put that in perspective, high risk, high reward, a little bit of money could turn into a lot of money. If 10% of my portfolio could 10x, I could literally then double my whole portfolio. Like There's no need to add more risk to that. If I lose less than 10%, okay, that sucks. It sucks to lose anything like significant. Anything more than 2% of your portfolio sucks, in my opinion. Anything 5% or more, you're just that really sucks. 10%, bro, you're what are you doing? You should have it spread out a little bit, right? If you're losing more than 10% of your portfolio at a time, you're probably not spread out enough. You got to protect yourself, right? And that's all I'm trying to say is don't throw all of your money into this thing. If all of your money is $1,000 or $100, okay, maybe you can roll the dice a little bit more, because I'm assuming it's probably not that hard for the average person over a year's time to save that money up again. You know what I mean? Let alone even over a week's time or over a month's time. Some people, not everybody's in a fortunate enough sorry, fortunate enough situation to be able to save $1,000 a month, but there are a fair amount of people who can put that money aside if they really try. I don't think you're going to have a month to buy this thing. I think we have days, and in fact, as the hours go by, we're only going to increase. So I've got nothing else to say. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. None of this is financial advice. It's just my opinions, and I literally put my money where my mouth is. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.